Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. In this video today, we're going to be discussing, well, this has kind of been an ongoing trend we've been discussing on this channel for a while now, which is the probable increased or heightened scrutiny associated with immigration matters under the Trump administration. As of now, as of the time of this video, December 2017, we haven't actually seen an actual change to the law itself with respect to immigration, but we have seen some changes with respect to various policy protocols and various regulatory frameworks under the Trump administration, most notably various changes by use of executive order or in some cases by use of sort of executive negation. For example, the negation of the Obama administration's executive order to speed up non-immigrant visa applications. Trump basically sort of negated that. You can hear about that in another video on this channel on that specific topic. But more to the point, specifically with respect to what's immediately going on, the time of this video is December 12, 2017. An article from Bloomberg, published December 12, 2017 at 3:35 a.m. at GMT. The headline reads, Trump says NYC bombing shows need for tougher immigration laws. I'm going to quote the president who's being quoted in this article. America must fix its lax immigration system, which allows far too many dangerous, inadequately vetted people to access our country, Trump said in a written statement. Today's terror suspect entered our country through extended family chain migration, which is incompatible with national security. Now, I'm not going to get off into an analysis of what I think with respect to Trump's position on this issue. I'm not even going to get into a particular analysis of this tragedy that befell New York, again, in the subway, with respect to this terror suspect. But something of interest in there was the notion of chain migration. Trump has mentioned this before, and I think it's something that this administration may like to change. In fact, I don't think there's a maybe there. I think they really do want to change this. Chain migration, what they're talking about, at least presumably, and from other remarks, I think it's safe to infer this. Chain migration is basically, for example, let's say, for example, someone goes to the United States on a K-1 fiancé visa to marry an American citizen. They marry their American citizen fiancé and they get a green card. They then, as time goes on, let's say they naturalize to United States citizenship. Well, that person is now a U.S. citizen, and as a U.S. citizen, and even as a lawful permanent resident in some preference categories, but I'm not going to go into the details of that. But let's say just a naturalized U.S. citizen. That naturalized U.S. citizen can now apply for their parents to enter the United States under the current law. They can apply for brothers and sisters, unmarried and married children, and again, I think that this is what the Trump administration is discussing with respect to so-called chain migration. They basically don't want this family chain to be able to immigrate into the United States by dint of the fact that one individual got in. My personal opinion on that is I think it's somewhat short-sighted, and frankly, the problems I think that individuals are trying to overcome with respect to especially employment-based immigration is not going to be particularly dealt with respect to this issue. But that being said, the thing to take away from this video, much like so-called extreme vetting that people felt like I was being much too alarmist about, especially with respect to consular processing issues here in Southeast Asia, so extreme vetting proved to be a rather broad-based policy, or at least the mindset seemed to be rather more pervasive than just one specific region of the world. Because Department of State is, it's a worldwide agency, and they don't think in terms of just one specific region at a time. These kinds of policies have a broader impact than many people first were sort of assuming. I think this is something to keep in mind as well. I think we're probably in Trump's administration going to see at least a bill proposed and probably seriously debated and voted upon that will probably get rid of at least certain aspects of family-based immigration as we now see it. So things like brothers and sisters, that's one category I think no matter who comes around to ultimately doing comprehensive immigration reform, be it the left or the right in the United States. I think brother-sister sibling immigration to U.S. citizens, that category, I think that's gone no matter what. That's personal opinion, but I think it's going to go. But again, I think we're going to see this stuff narrow. The proposed legislation Trump had previously been brought up on Capitol Hill and was being discussed. We discussed it at length on this video. It was fairly clear from the provisions of that a narrowing or a paring down, if you will, of sort of quote-unquote, derivative immigration benefits by dint of familial relationships was just going to happen. That seemed to be one of the fundamental underlying policies of that piece of legislation. So I think it's safe to say that moving forward, you can probably expect to see a Trump proposal to change the immigration system as it sits, and I think it's fairly safe to say that we may see some rather fundamental changes with respect to U.S. family-based immigration.